This video is brought to you by ripping off Mr. Sunday movies, as well as missing this upload by 2 weeks. What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing my Shin Godzilla All Easter Eggs Explained, aka 110 things you missed from Shin Godzilla. Maybe you didn't miss all 110. I don't know. I can't read your mind. I don't know what you know or what you don't know. Alright, I'm sorry this video took so long to come out. I had things going on. I was very sick. I had finals, so I was not able to make the video, but now I can, so let's go through them all as fast as I possibly can. There's a lot to cover here, so going chronologically through the movie, and then eventually we'll just do random stuff at the end. The new Toho logo fades into the old classic Toho scope logo used in the 1960s and 70s. The audio that's played over the start of the movie is the same audio straight from the 1954 Gojira. The way the logo is written, the font and color, is the exact same way as it was written in the 1954 movie. The movie starts with the same opening shot of water from Gojira. The Glory Maroon is destroyed in the start of this movie, just like the boat from the 1954 Godzilla as well as the boat from the 1984 Godzilla. The movie's general plot is the exact same as Gojira, with a mysterious boat disaster. Godzilla shows up and freaks everyone out before disappearing. The military strikes a response before Godzilla shows back up, attacks Tokyo, leaving partway through, or in the case of Shin Godzilla, going dormant. Eventually, Godzilla comes back on land and destroys all of Tokyo before he is taken care of by a scientific solution. The movie uses classic Toho sound effects from the Showa era. The term giant unidentified life form, or GULF, is given to Godzilla early in the movie as a potential reference to massive unidentified terrestrial organism, or MUTO, from Godzilla 2014. When Godzilla bleeds in the water, it all turns red. This is a reference to the end of Evangelion. The boat, the Alpha, is seen being pushed through the Tomi River. This is the same name of one of the ships from Latitude Zero, another Showa-era Toho film. This is the first time in franchise history that there is mention of Godzilla being too big to support his own weight, which is a real-world problem, disproving the existence of Godzilla in our world as we know it. This is Toho's way of addressing the science behind Godzilla's non-existence in the real world, and their way of making fun of people who try and theorize how this is possible. You know, oh, there's no Godzilla, there could never be a Godzilla. This movie addresses that and says, well, guess what, there is. There's a mother and child who are killed by Godzilla early in the movie, just like they were late in the movie in the 1954 film. Godzilla's landing in the Kamata Ward of Tokyo is straight from the Millennium era, as Godzilla seemed to land here almost every single movie. The found footage shots are a callback to the original premise of this movie, which was a found footage Godzilla film. There are rumors that any found footage and any perspective shots, being computers, chairs, whatnot, were filmed on an iPhone, due to the movie wasting all of its budget early on the animatronic. Godzilla's slow speed is addressed in this movie as a nod to the audiences who often complain in Godzilla movies about Godzilla moving way too slow. These references, such as Godzilla not being able to come on land because he's too big and him moving too slow, make this movie very self-aware in a sense that Godzilla movies have never been before. Kamata-kun's design is based on a frilled shark's design. Godzilla's landing theme from 1954 is played as he evolves from a second to third form. Shinagawa-kun's look is more normal, quote-unquote, and very 1954-esque, and this is definitely noticeable when compared to his starting form. Godzilla now has the 1954 roar. Godzilla's third form is around the same height as he was back in Gojira. The evolution angle given to Godzilla in this movie is a callback to both Hedorah and Destroya, who evolved throughout their own respective films. The hill the elderly are seen residing to when Godzilla is destroying Shinagawa is, as confirmed in the special features on the Shin Godzilla Blu-ray, the same hill that the Yamanes and Ogata hide on during the 1954 Godzilla attack. The iconic train scene from Gojira is recreated in Shin Gojira when Godzilla's tail strikes a train car. The deleted scene during the Shinagawa attack involves a flood of blood. There is a reuse of the old theme Dogora the Space Monster. This is yet another case where the movie used an Ifukube theme, even if this one was cut out in the final product. Evangelion music plays during the Shinagawa standoff. The entire opening of the movie takes place on the date November 3rd, Godzilla's birthday. That's the release date of the 1954 movie. Godzilla runs off nuclear fission in this continuity, meaning even if the oxygen destroyer was used against him, it may not actually affect affect him. Godzilla is stated to be able to live in any situation on Earth with oxygen or without. Evangelion music plays constantly throughout this movie, pretty much any montage scene. The actor who played Yuki from Space Godzilla is back in this movie, as well as someone from Final Wars. The name Goro Maki is reused from both Son of Godzilla and Godzilla 1984. This is the first movie in Godzilla history to address the difference between Godzilla and Gojira directly. 2014 uses both names, but never gets into the explanation of the differences. In this movie, much like in real life, the name Godzilla was made by the Japanese along with the name Gojira. The name Gojira in this series means a god incarnate, possibly a reference to Shin, meaning god. Gojira is a term from Oro Island, the same island that Godzilla first shows up on in Gojira. Maki Goro is much like Dr. Mifune from Terror of Mechagodzilla. If you notice, both of them are scientists who were rejected by their countries and eventually kicked out of their own fields. Both of them also have a subplot of wanting to go against humanity as a result, and especially Japan. It is said that 60 years ago, dumping of nuclear waste mutated marine life into Godzilla. This places Godzilla's new origins back in 1954, the same way that it was in the original, as a story of nuclear disaster. It is said Godzilla's body harbors new elements never before seen to man, explaining why he has the abilities to stand on land as well as be so big and have atomic powers. Godzilla is, quote, immortal in this series, so the only true way to stop him is by freezing him, like in 1955. Godzilla vs. the Coagulant is equivalent to the Cadmium missiles in 1984, and the freezing of Godzilla in 1995. The new idea of people who worship Godzilla is introduced in this movie. This is a very real-world thing that I wish we could see more of in Godzilla. That's not really an Easter egg, I just felt like pointing it out. Godzilla's re-landing theme from King Kong vs. Godzilla is used in this movie. Of course, that was Godzilla Lives in King Kong vs. Godzilla, as it was used during Godzilla's first appearance. Godzilla's main design throughout this movie has red flares in it. Best seen at night, these flares are a callback to Burning Godzilla's design back in 1995. Godzilla's scars in his design are also based off the colossal titan from Attack on Titan, a film that director Shinji Higuchi worked on, and that is the live-action version. Threat Level is played in this movie. This is a song from Terror of Mechagodzilla. It's actually two songs combined into one in this movie. The main Godzilla design is very 1954-esque, with clear influences such as the body structure and the way he always is looking down. The new Godzilla has gills like the 2014 Godzilla. The sound effects throughout the movie update along with the Showa era. It starts out with 1954 sound effects, and as we go on, it moves through the 60s and 70s sound effects. We eventually end with the 80s sound effects. This is the first Godzilla to have maple leaf-shaped dorsal fins since GMK, and before that, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. I'm not counting Godzilla 2004's because although he has rounded dorsal fins, they're not maple leaf shaped. During Godzilla's re-landing, there are lots of low-angled shots, much like how director Ishiro Honda filmed Gojira. On-scene text is directly taken from Godzilla 1984, and it's seen constantly throughout both movies. There is a great parallel to Godzilla 2000, as during Godzilla's atomic breath, there's a very reminiscent shot of Godzilla blowing up Tokyo. Who Will Know, the song, is said to be told from Godzilla's perspective. Persecution of the Masses is the human's perspective. These two themes clash quite a bit. Who Will Know is all treble, while Persecution is all bass. Who Will Know is a female lead, while Persecution of the Masses is a male ensemble. The two themes are the exact opposite of one another, and this is meant to parallel Godzilla being the exact opposite of humanity. The purple beam that sweeps through Tokyo, destroying everything, passes by some very familiar 1954 locations. These were the locations Godzilla destroys during his attack on Tokyo. Godzilla's atomic breath sound is the same sound effect as Destoroyah's micro-oxygen beam, as well as a very similar sound effect to Godzilla's atomic breath in Godzilla vs. Mothra from the 90s. Famously from Evangelion, plays after the atomic breath scene. Godzilla falling asleep partway through this film is a callback to when Godzilla gets knocked out partway through Godzilla 1984 and he falls asleep in the middle of Tokyo. Godzilla has a phased array radar like the Muto's EMP. Godzilla's mentioned flying may be a callback to Hedorah. The other connection that can be made from Godzilla flying would be the connection to Godzilla and Destoroyah, who at one point in his evolution sprouts wings and starts to fly. America wants to hit Godzilla with a nuke as a callback to Godzilla's origins rooted in the atomic bombs that hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, as well as the Castle Bravo test in 1954, which spawned the whole Lucky Dragon incident, which eventually led to the creation of the 1954 movie Gojira. This could also be a callback to how the Americans wanted to use a nuke to kill Godzilla and the Mutos in the 2014 Godzilla movie. The loss of Maki's wife again connects Mifune's backstory from Terror of Mechagodzilla to Maki's backstory from this movie. The operation is called Yashiori after a Japanese legend. The music from Battle in Outer Space is played during the ending theme, which is an adaptation of the Invasion of Astro Monsters theme, which is an adaptation of the Japanese march from the 1954 movie, which has been remade by Ifukube countless times. Godzilla's dorsal beams are a modified version of the atomic pulse which he uses in the 90s. The way multiple buildings are dropped on Godzilla is a callback to the 2014 film. It is possible that the way Godzilla gets up afterwards is a way of Anno saying, our Godzilla can get up after buildings getting knocked over onto him, yours can't. As in Godzilla 2014, Godzilla was knocked out for a long period of time after the building fell on him. Godzilla releases a Showa-era roar when the building falls on him. More specifically, he releases the 1962 roar. This is one of only 3 times throughout the movie that I can think of that Godzilla roars. We have a 4th one coming up. The trains that bomb Godzilla are similar to the train Godzilla destroys in the 1954 movie, as well as the train that Godzilla destroys at the start of this film. Godzilla freezing at the end of this movie, only to give way to a future monster, is a direct parallel to Godzilla vs. Destroya, where Godzilla is frozen only to give birth to the son of Godzilla, aka Godzilla Jr. turning into the next Godzilla. Godzilla's mouth splits open for a brief second as he's freezing. This is an incredibly missable detail as it only happens for a very split second and it's so small on the screen. Man is depicted as the real monster in this last scene, as the humanoids coming off of Godzilla's tail are meant to represent how humans are monsters just like Godzilla. This harkens back to the line from Godzilla 1984 from the professor in that movie, in which he states, "Man are the real monsters." The humanoids on Godzilla's tail are designed to look like God Warrior from Giant God Warrior Appears in Tokyo. The humanoids are also meant to look like some of the creatures in Evangelion, whether that be angels or Evangelion units themselves. Music from Godzilla 1954, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1993 play over the end credits. Godzilla's purple beam sound effect is the same sound effect used for Godzilla's Atomic Breath and Godzilla vs. Mothra 1992. I know I already mentioned that, but I wanted to highlight it again just because why not? Also, this was pointed out to me by Godzilla 154. The word Shin in Shin Godzilla is left to interpretation, so people can view it as whatever they want, as the word Shin in Japan means many different things. We'll talk more about this in a little bit. This is the largest Godzilla in live-action movies in history. This is the first Godzilla to be made by Toho that is full CGI for the entire movie. Although we have seen fully rendered CGI Godzillas before, this is the first one to be used exclusively CGI throughout the whole movie. This is the first full motion capture Godzilla in history. The purple color palette is a reference to Evangelion and the Armored Titan from the live-action Attack on Titan, as well as Giant God Warrior Appears in Tokyo. He also has a purple beam much like Shin Godzilla. 8名を伴いこれより立川へ向かいます。The composer of Shin Gojira is the composer of Evangelion. That's why they use so much of that music, as well as Anno directed that, Evangelion, and he directed Shin Godzilla. In addition to actors from Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla and Godzilla Final Wars, this movie features multiple returning actors from the live-action Attack on Titan movies. The idea that Godzilla can asexually reproduce is a potential reference to Zilla, Hedra, and Destroya. This might also be a way to explain away the question most people have about the Showa-era Godzilla movies regarding if Minya is Godzilla's son, then who is Minya's mother? Now this kind of gives the whole idea that Godzilla's both. However, I don't like that idea. I like the idea of Minya being adopted, which is why I made a full video explaining that from a few years ago on the channel. It's not a great video, but it's an interesting topic if you want to go check out the video regardless. Shin Godzilla fought Shin-chan at one point. That episode features many Godzilla references, but due to its childish and overall unfunny nature, I won't be covering any of them here. Some shots from Shin Godzilla were changed from the theatrical release to the DVD release. The English dub from Shin Godzilla has additional audio during the famously scene that talks about the atomic bombs in 1945. Toho was very unhappy with the American title Godzilla Resurgence, hence why it was changed to Shin Godzilla. The shot of Godzilla landing was altered from the Parco ad to its first appearance in the movie. Godzilla only roars when hurt throughout this movie. He first roars when he transforms into his third stage of evolution. It is later stated that this stage hurts him because he does not have a way to vent the heating in his back. He later roars when he's hit with bombs, again when a building's dropped on him. When he gets up from that building. And then he finally roars when he's frozen at the end of the movie. Godzilla is a charcoal black, unlike his usual charcoal gray look in this movie. For whatever reason, and I don't know why, Godzilla's mouth splits open like the Predator in this movie. And a snake, also, because it unhinges the bottom jaw. There was a Shin Godzilla New Year's special which featured new footage of Godzilla as well as some old footage reused or reworked alongside some new footage where a whole bunch of craziness happens. I've done a whole video covering that from last year, or I guess actually earlier this year.
Nice to meet you.
Godzilla's beam is not dissimilar to the beam of Gauss from Gamera. Godzilla deploys an eye membrane like sharks to cover his eye during moments of need, such as when he uses the atomic breath. There is a scene when a bomb is dropped on Godzilla's face, and those who watch slowly and carefully will notice how he deploys this membrane, seen in the atomic breath scenes, over his eye here as well. As Godzilla evolves throughout the movie, his eyes always stay the same size. They start out really huge when he's in his Kamata-kun state, they stay big when he's in his Shinagawa state because his head didn't change that much, and then when he finally enters his final Shin Godzilla stage, for whatever reason they're really small. If you pay attention, that's just because they never changed size. I don't know why. I always prefer my Godzilla to have big animated eyes, but whatever, that's fine. Shin means new in Japanese, as well as true in Japanese, as well as Shin means God and evolution. There, we did it! That's 100 things you missed in Shin Godzilla. Now people might be like, what the heck, D-Man? You said 110 at the start! That's okay, because here's 10 things I missed. Here are things that I learned from other YouTubers when making this video. If you want to see the videos that I used as reference, go down to the links in the description below for all the people who helped me make this video. They didn't help me directly, but I watched their videos for inspiration, and these were the things that I took away that I did not know beforehand. It was said by Shinji Higuchi that there are two versions of Shin Godzilla. There's the Toho cut and the director's cut. He stated that Anno and he switched the Toho cut for the director's cut at the world premiere in order to get their version of the film out to the world. The Toho cut, which was planned to release in theaters, has never been seen by the public. Toho was not happy with Anno and Shinji's decision to switch versions of Shin Godzilla when airing. However, they decided to let it slide when the audience reaction was positive towards the movie. Director Hideki Anno does the voiceover for the man on the stereo during Godzilla's relanding. Director Anno Hideki was the bus driver during the Kamata attack. Anno's wife made an anime that plays on the TV screens during the defeat is no option scene. There's a Twitter named Baka Shinji that is seen as one of the people is freaking out about the radiation leaks in Japan. Their profile picture is a picture of the main character from Evangelion. I have no way of knowing that because I don't watch Evangelion. I plan to, but I haven't. There was a never before heard roar used in the ad campaign for Shin Godzilla. This roar was replaced by the Showa roar in the movie's release, but the online speculation is that the original roar heard in the ad campaign was used in the Toho cut of the movie. Because Toho spent so much of their budget on the use of animatronics for Godzilla in this movie, and then having to scrap the animatronics due to them not looking good on screen, they had to start an entirely new ad campaign to fund the rest of this movie. This gave birth to the Shin Godzilla vs. Evangelion ad campaign, which eventually led to a Shin Gojira vs. Evangelion concert. This concert actually led to a huge discovery of mine, and that was that all music used in Shin Godzilla, whether it was Ifukube music or not, was re-recorded for Shin Godzilla, as the orchestra who performed for Shin Godzilla performs all their songs from Shin Godzilla in this live concert, including Ifukube music. This means that I was wrong. I always thought that they just remastered the music from the originals to the new ones. But I guess what actually happens is that they just re-recorded them very faithfully to how they were originally recorded. This also means that Richard Manzo was wrong, and so that sin in the previous Everything Wrong with video still stands. Shin Godzilla is the first Japanese Godzilla film since Terror of Mechagodzilla to have a release date outside of December. That is insane to me because it's been, like 40 years since that happened. The photo of Goro Maki is actually an old-school, big-time Japanese director. Kamaji-kun was a trending meme on many mainstream meme sites at one point in history, which is absolutely hilarious. So there you go, there's 110 things you missed, or maybe you didn't, from Shin Godzilla. If there's anything that I somehow missed throughout this 110 list, please make sure to leave it in the comments below, and maybe, if there's enough, I'll make sure to do another Things I Missed video that's in relation to this one, in which I cover all the things that you guys pointed out to me. So now it's time to pay off some debts. Here are the shoutouts that I owe to you guys. There was a video from a few months ago, I don't remember which one, but in it, I hit a single frame of King Ghidorah. These were the people that noticed that. Elijah Thomas, Nightmare Plush Trap 465, and Godzilla 154. And here were the Shin Godzilla Godzillathon Challenge winners. Here were all the people that noticed the Shin Gojiras written in the Godzillathon title cards. Those people were Godzilla 154, D180223, and Switchboard. There were a couple other people who tried out but didn't get them all, so I felt I'd just go with the top 3 who actually did get it, and those were actually the only 3 who did get it, who did get all of them. If you want to know where they all were, here's a quick montage showing off where all the Shin Gojiras were written in the Godzillathon titles. That does it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. D-Man, out. The music from Battle in Outer Space. Battle in Outer Space.